Hello all again, and we are back with the Sunday Q&A Plus new Supreme Additional version on Monday, because otherwise it goes on too long, and this way I get lots of adverts. Ka-ching! Sorry about that. Right, so I wanted to do it in two halves because we did one on short wheelbase, long wheelbase, and I got a lot of responses on this, and I thought it was important to share. Now, Steve Corbett says, hang on, frogging me for him. I should start the video again, I can't be bothered. Steve Corbett says, Pete, looking to buy a bigger van and join the CX. Any tips on what size van to buy to stand the best chance of getting enough work to make a living? That's got it. Bob Fleming. Would a short wheelbase do, or do I need bigger? Any help would be great. Thanks, Pete. Well, my friend, this has all the makings of your lucky day. Because I did one last week on short and wheelbase vans, and obviously the community who run in these things have given us quite a lot of fantastic feedback, so stuff I'd like to share with you right now. Domain name guy says, he said, Ford van, there's talking of vans, there goes the Amazon guy, he's in one of them new sprintery things, grey prime with a big smile. I think he's just delivered my HDMI lead, which I might need because I'm going to hit the road tramping, and then you can use it to connect the computer to the TV. So if you go to like one of these days in hotels, it's got a decent TV, you can plug it to the TV and watch it through the telly. Computer's fine, speakers aren't brilliant. It's very old. Domain guy name says, Ford vans don't cope well with multiple drivers and multiple driving styles, etc. Merc Sprinters and VW Crafters can handle multiple drivers and multiple styles with ease. Now, bear in mind, if you're going to buy a van which is previously a rental, and a lot of Lutons, and some, you know, a lot of Lutons and hire vans can be like your ex-Norfolk or B-Hire, or, you know, whatever they are. They're going to be rented out to a lot of different people. And also bear in mind, if they're ex-rental vans, they probably have been thrashed, because if you rent a van, a lot of people don't treat you with the respect they reserve, whereas if you buy a van of someone who's always had that van, then the chances are they're more likely to have looked after it because they know they're going to use it every day. So that's something to bear in mind where it comes from. Lee Allen says, afternoon, Pete. Continuing the vans, I've driven quite a few now, flatbeds, panels, curtain sides, and I have to say that I'm not a huge fan of the Crafter. Never driven the Crafter. I've driven the old LTs, but I've never driven a Crafter. Don't know why, just don't like them as a van. But I'm a huge Sprinter fan, as am I, my friend. Sprinters were my favourite. As long as they have a manual box. I find the Merc Auto box not good, as it's always trying to change gear and always makes the engine sound as if it's screaming. So what they're saying, I think, is the fact that it's never happy in the gear it's in type thing, you know. One of my current favourites is also the Sprinter derived. It's the MAN TGE. Superb van and worth trying out. Give me a Transit up to the new shape, as they seem to be bulletproofed. I know what you're saying. The old, I mean, I don't know about the new Transits. The old Transits will workhorses. Have you seen that? I don't know. I do know about the new Transits. We've got a Transit, which is currently in the shop. It's been in the shop for ages. It's only been on the road for about a year. Then it got diagnosed as the flywheel had gone. Then we couldn't get a flywheel. They would charge us a fortune to put the flywheel in, which is not under warranty. Then in the end we put it round to our mechanic, got the flywheel, got our mechanic put it in. We drove it down the road. He said it's not the mechanic, it's not the flywheel, it's the gearbox. It's currently now, I think it went into another, then it went into another Ford's at the shut because of COVID. Now it's in another Ford's. We're having an absolute nightmare with this Transit. It should have been on the Luton, it should have been on the road ages ago. And that's what, so that actually backs up everything you've just said. Ours Transit has been a dog, and it's a new one, so maybe that's the case. I don't know. It ain't done us no favours. Hopefully we're going to get it sorted out under warranty, but I mean it's been off the road for a little while. Not that that really matters, because there's not been a tremendous amount of work out there, but it still could be earning money. Rant over. Van on run. Hi Pete, I don't think there are actually many car drive vans these days. Most small van jobs are purpose built for small vans like Citroen, but I did see one the other day. It was a Transit Connect, and it was like a little tiny one, you know. I did see it today, actually. Well, today being Saturday, when I went down to Camden to see my mate who drove past me, I kind of went, that's what I'm talking about, small van size. But what he's saying is, Most small vans are purpose-built, like the Citroen Berlingo. Quite often see small van jobs for one UK pallet, but has to be quite light and not a high load. Bipper versus Berlingo. Someone asked this question, which would you go for, Bipper versus Berlingo? Bipper can in theory take one pallet, maybe a Euro size though. Bipper is intended for city use as it screams on the motorway. 5-speed. Berlingo happier doing motorway work and slightly larger. So again, I'm just passing on what you guys tell me. I don't know, I'm still in the truck. Steve Campbell, he says, the partner is a little bigger than the Bipper. Get one with the 2-litre HDI engine over the 1.6 HDI engine. I would always recommend, if you're going to buy a van, try and get the one with the biggest engine possible. Because, okay, it might cost you a little bit more in fuel, but, I mean, when you're trying to go up hills with weight on board, you want that extra boomph. That's why I love the Sprinter. They just flew up the hill like it was unloaded. Fantastic vans. Business choice couldn't inside now. He's had a bit of checkered passes after Steve, and I love him. He looks after me, and he's given me a load of advice on where I need to go on Monday, which is today, if this video goes out today. So I'll let you know how I go during the week. He said, due to his checkered past, he's his driver's mate. I think he's doing it with his dad. He said to get insured, he does a regular job from Redcar to Plymouth. That's a long way to go. That is kind of the whole distance of the country. If it's not the whole distance of the country, but it's the whole of England, pretty much. It's not the whole of the UK, but it's the whole of England. So it's Redcar to Plymouth and back. Woo-hoo-hoo, that's a long way. How many miles is that? I'd be interested to see what the longest job. I'm going out there. If you're not going abroad, what's the longest job you've done? Am I going to count multi-drops in this? I don't know. Let me know. I'd be interested to pass that one on, but I've just saw that the pennies just dropped on that one. Redcar to Plymouth and back. Redcar is Teesside. I know. I used to live there. Well, it's near Teesside. It's next to Teesside. Yeah, right. He got quoted due to his checkered past. And again, what's the most anyone's ever been quoted in insurance? I think you might be winning on the job. And he got quoted £22,198.87 for a year's insurance. But he could pay any monthly instalments. A 2-month, was it? Or I can pay in monthly instalments of just... This is 11,000. Well, at just 11,000, like £12,000 deposit, and 11 monthly payments of £1,800 with a £1,500 excess, and that's from Adrian Flux. He said, yeah, basically, I think he elected not to do that. I think I would elect not to do that. I don't know how you're ever going to get that money back again. He said, yeah. And he's gone on to, I priced a long wheelbase Transit with 51 plate with Zigo, fully comp 30-day rolling policy, is from £196. But you have to kind of download the app and they check your driving and all that kind of stuff. It might be the way forward. Mate, I know that you're on top of it. I know I think you and your dad are out there. I know that, regular updates would be lovely. I'll try not to be quite so vague, but good to see you up and running. Redcar to Plymouth and back. I couldn't do that on my driving house. I just couldn't. They wouldn't let me. Oh, the ministry wouldn't be happy. Clayton Hayward says, most small vans can take a pallet as long as it's not over 1.2 metres tall. Berlingo, Partner, Combo, Dolblow, Caddy, Connect, Citroen, Kango, and some of them MV200s and stuff like that. Not just a little car, like vans like a Fiesta. So, okay, so we're going to say the small van now. I still say short wheelbase is 1.2, so I don't know if they're talking about a small van being a Euro pallet or a small van being a normal pallet, as long as it's not too high, properly stacked, and not too heavy. I don't really know, but they're saying that, really small van is kind of one pallet, I think. Matthew McDonald says, the only difference I've found with the Customs, so going about the Customs, I'm not, a bit harsh about them if I'm honest, although it's a good looking van. If you want to drive a van that looks cool, drive a Custom. If you want to drive a van that does the job, box, Sprinter, tail lift, curtain side. He said the thing about the 2.2 and the 2.4 metre Customs, they're good for multi-drops. He said he was in a small van doing multi-drops, dried up because they prefer medium and long wheelbases, presumably because some of the things you've got to drop on a multi-drop are quite long. If someone's ordered a broom or a rake or an extension or something like that, it's got to go in there somewhere, So as you said, some vans, and you can jump in. It's very easy to jump in and out of. Side door. He said, I managed to grab a 2015 Berlingo with only 32,000 on the clock and cruise control spec for only £5,400. He says they're going for 8 to 9 grand on Auto Trader, and it was just round the corner from me. Well done you, sir. And I hope it serves you well. And we'll hear more stories about how Matthew's getting on in his Berlingo. It's not a great name for a van, is it? Berlingo. I don't know, maybe it's all right. What do I know? Domain name guy. He says van size is basically volume versus weight, and it depends on what your regular customer needs. And I agree with him on this one. He says no van does both. Whatever van you got is wrong. It's going to be too long, or they need a box, or it needs a flatbed, or it needs a high ab, or it needs a Moffat, or it needs to be a fridge, or whatever you got, ain't going to be right. Needs to be in Belgium. He says no van does. He said, e.g. a person can't take 3 times 1 ton pallets, even though the pallets would fit in the van, because they'd be overweight. A long wheelbase is, light volume, short wheelbase, 1 or 2 heavy pallets ish. Long wheelbase is very handy for moving 5 metre rolls. Yeah, there's vans. You need a van for every different thing, and you can guarantee the one that you need is going to be, the job's going to be coming from like 100 miles away. As I found out on Friday. Corrigan 71. Medium wheelbase Luton vans, easy to park, and you can take 2 loads out of one. Okay, fair enough. Lee Allen, long wheelbase curtain side all day for me. He said, I was buying a van, which I'm actually thinking of doing. If I was buying a van, which I'm thinking of doing. Lee, let me know how you get on, mate. I'll pass the information on to everybody. Van on the run. Oh, hang on. Lewis ASP6 says it doesn't really matter, small and long wheelbase, running the thing under £1 per mile is done. If you got your own customers, then you won't have to run on £1 per mile. But to be honest with you, even in a small wheelbase van, if you've got your own customers, you still ain't going to get much more than £1 a mile. If you're running in a long wheelbase, your own customers, you might get 2. Might. If you're going to be quoting less, if you're running in a small or a long wheelbase van and you're quoting £1 a mile, I'll be amazed how many jobs you get. I had a geezer ring me this week, a guy called Bernard, and he joined 6 weeks ago. I didn't give him a bad deal. He joined for a year. I said, why did you join for a year? He joined for 6 months. He said, I haven't had any jobs for like the last 6 weeks. Hardly. So I've done a couple yesterday. A woman gave me a couple, 40 quid jobs. He said, but I haven't done any. I said, how much are you quoting? And he's in a long wheelbase. He said, £1 a mile. And I went, that's why you ain't got any jobs. Because long wheelbase jobs are selling at the moment for around 75p a mile. You might get 80, you might get 85. You might be lucky, you might quote £1. But the higher you quote, the less jobs you'll get. You can quote £100 a mile if you like. Makes no difference to me. But yeah, if you're, it'd be lovely thinking that you can, and I could tell you can, but you can't. That's what and when we put long wheelbase jobs up on the exchange, when we post them, we see what they come in for. You're going to be looking to pay round about between 75 and 85p a mile on a long wheelbase. So if you guys know that, if you guys have got it differently, I'm going to say well done you. But that's what we're working on. So right, van and run recently changed from a long wheelbase Renault Traffic, short wheelbase on the CX, he says, to a L3H2 Nissan NV400. That's catchy. Long wheelbase on the CX. When I get work in these quiet times, my rate is 20p a mile higher. If it costs me an extra £3.5p a mile in diesel, but otherwise it costs the same, insurance, wear and tear, that kind of thing. So I'm definitely better off. So basically what he's saying is by changing from the Renault Traffic to the Nissan MV400, he's now getting an extra 20p a mile, and it's costing him an extra 3.5p a mile, which is why I'm a big fan of bigger vans. So I'm definitely better off, and I would like to say small van jobs still can be done. Of course they can. If you're in the right, small done. He goes on to say, if you're the right person in the right place, right time. He's finding it more comfortable on long drives and also for long waits in lay-bys, which is common at the moment. Yeah, it's tough getting work out there, guys. I think we've all established that. But well done, mate. And by the way, he has got his own video channel, Van on the Run. If you type, if I can, I'll do a link. He's more like he's kind of does more. I'll try and get the information across that you guys tell me, and when I mess up, I tell you, But he's much more of a man on the road. So if you please do. He's a regular contributor. Check out his channel, Van on the Run. He's out there doing it. Show you what it's like. You know, if you're curious, you want to know what it's like, watch the videos. Dinky Daz 67 says the only other option for curtains is a tambour door box. Bit more security and doesn't blow about in the wind. Now I wonder. Now I've seen you get the ones that they're kind of a lot of the foreign nationals drive them, and it's like a big curtain that goes around the outside. They rope it up, and you take the curtain back, and inside there's like a steel. You lift the boards out, click, click, click. Then you've got a central reservation. You click that out, and then the sides fold down, which is kind of a little bit like a flatbed, and then you can put the pallet straight in the side. I don't know if that's what he's talking about there, but I have seen them about. A little bit of a faff. But it's kind of like, it has the advantages of being a curtain side and also rigid. Because it's got a rigid side, but you can take the rigid side out, which makes some sense. I say a bit of a faff, but sure it comes in handy. John Mayers, he says, I've got an H2L2 custom. Generally, I can get a ton on board. It's a high roof, which helps. On the drive, it's a small footprint, and I can get an average long wheelbase load of 2.8 metres, so €3 or 2 standards. He says a great van for the size. I'm seeing more of them on the roads now. They were previously like hen's teeth. Great option to convert for a camper van and sell it too. Sell it, make some money. Apparently, that's kind of the way to go forward. And Doozer says long wheelbase jobs for 75p per mile. It's just over your running cost. Panel vans have some payload. Legal payload on a Luton with a tail lift is around 500 kilos, if you're honest with yourself. I'm very politely, I'm going to say that's not my experience. I find that long wheelbase jobs are selling for around 75 to 85p a mile. And my payload on my Luton, my legal payload on my Luton was about 850 kilos with the tail lift and the pallet truck and the pump truck and the sort of the sack barrow and the full tank of diesel. I'll run it over a weighbridge. So unless you've got a very heavy tail lift, I mean, there's no point building a van. There's just no point building a van that can only hold 500 kilos. Just doesn't make any sense, does it? So, but I don't know. What do I know? Like I say, I'm just a conduit for this stuff. Right, what else we got to go to here? Right, miscellaneous. Here we go. Right, this week's miscellaneous. Sorry, it's late. Trucker Alves says, "Hi Pete. I know you made a video last year, but this is to do with Road Lords. I was using Road Lords for a little while, and it's a Truckers app. And then I was using both. I was using Road Lords and Waze. And I was kind of finding that Road Lords did have certain advantages. It had like parking places, and it was gave me more accurate ETA. I didn't always want to see it in Waze. But then Waze has now adapted to my driving style and now gives me a perfectly accurate ETA. The reason I kind of stopped using Road Lords is it wasn't brilliant for me. And I'm going to call it like I see it. It wasn't brilliant for me. Once he told me to go over Vauxhall Bridge when it was shut. It didn't really pick up that many, it would still send me through width restrictions, still send me to low bridges, not often, but then neither does Waze. There's not that many of them about in a 7.5 tonne, because most places you can go in a 7.5 tonne. Having said that, Shona, who was driving for us at the time, she used it and she said she never came unstuck. So what I probably will do is if I ever do jump back in an 18 tonne, I'll start using it again with that. Because it would be lovely to have a free sat-nav on my phone that works. I think it might work better with the bigger trucks, but it didn't work so well with mine. Anyway, he goes on to say the app is far better now, and to give it a chance to evolve, it's a beta for a reason. I don't know if it was beta when I was using it, I don't know. And he said a few days is not really amount of time to judge a trucking app. Mate, I'll just be honest with you, I didn't use it for a few days. I used it for months. I put them both in for like at least a month, possibly 2. And it wasn't, and then sometimes I come unstuck because Waze has given me a wrong direction. I've been in Slough, there's particularly low railway bridges. I put it in the Road Lords, said the same thing. I'm like, oh, okay. This is just my personal experience, or this is just me, He said, I've seen many truck vloggers giving reviews of base unit sat-navs that they have been given for free, and that is lame. Yeah, I haven't used any of that. I don't know what I'll do come the time. I think when the time comes and I jump in the 18 tonne, I'll try it again. If it sends me right, brilliant. If it doesn't send me right, I'll try and find a sat-nav. I'll talk to you guys. At the moment, Waze works fine for me, but then I'm in a 7.5 tonne, so it's not so bad, Joe Coates says, do I need an O licence for a vacuum waste tanker? Only if it's got, as I believe, and again I could be wrong, but I think you only need a licence, an O licence, if you're running a vehicle which has got a laden weight, when you've got fully loaded weight of over 3.5 tonne. And I supremely doubt a vacuum waste tanker is going to weigh less than 3.5 tonne when it's loaded, because it's carrying I don't know, vacuum waste. Is that like sewage or something like that? That's going to be heavy. So I definitely expect so. The best thing to do is to ring Vosa. You might be on the phone. It's not Vosa anymore. It's DVLA. You might be on the phone for a little while, but they're very helpful. Ring them and talk to them. Robert Sazabo says, "Hi Pete. Any chance can you tell me if two guys want to set up a business together, do we both need to apply for an O license? If yes, that's 16k or just a normal amount? Thanks for the information." I don't think so. I think your best way, Robert, is to set the O license up in the business name. The only thing with that is you've got to make sure where the money, when they start asking you for money and parking and all that kind of stuff, it's all related. So if they're going to want to see bank statements, the bank statement's got to be in a business account that's also got the business name on it. This is the way I believe. Or one of you can choose to set up the O license. I'm in a business, I'm in a partnership, my O license is currently in my name. It just worked out that way. So yeah, no, there's nothing wrong with being in. One of you can go up. One of you, the way we do it, Alan and Gemma in the office. I'm the kind of the truck mechanical side of things, so I deal with the inspection sheets. I deal with a mechanic. I deal with the operators and all that kind of stuff. They're much more. Gemma deals with the money chasing and the controlling trucks and jobs. Ours new business. You kind of basically you delegate, you know. So yeah, no, you don't need two O licenses. You just need one. I don't. Again, this is just my opinion, but I'm pretty sure that's the case. You know. Florian Lutas. Now he says, "Hi Pete, I'm starting a CX. I have a 65 plate master van, long wheelbase Renault. Do I think he can make?" I'm going to struggle with this question a bit, Florian. I've got to be honest with you. Do you think I can make it with 200 to 22,000 to 23,000 pound a month diesel without getting stuck? All be a bit scared. Thanks for any advice. I've got to be honest, mate. I'm not quite clear of your question. Sorry. The best thing to do is to ring me. I'm available 9 to 5, Monday. And please, guys, if you're messaging me or you're emailing me or you're any other way of getting into, don't pick them up. You've got to bear in mind, I spend most of my time driving. I don't look at the phone. And when I get home, I get home. And if I do stop, the reason I'm looking at the phone is because I'm looking for my next job. So the best thing to do is ring me. I did a video very recently that said, I'll do a link. Can you make money? And you make money on the CX. I'll put my phone number on it. If you want to ring me, I'll talk to you. Ring me 9 to 5, Monday to Friday. If you ring me outside of that time, I won't, because I'm with my family, and normally, or if not, sometimes you want a little bit of rest, like, you know, and if I do miss your call, it's probably because I'm unloading. I'll get back to you, and if I don't get back to you, ring me again. You know, sometimes I miss calls. I think the other day, Friday, someone rang me. I was trying to get something off. I've got to ring that guy back. I didn't. Ring me again, hassle me, leave me an answer phone message. You know, but I will get back to you. But yeah, I mean, the best thing to do for is talk to me. I'll give you. If I'm driving and I've got my hands free on, you've got me. I'll talk to you forever. I don't mind. Tifioso Cornwall. Hi Pete. Since coronavirus, do you find that all customers are generally paying on time, or how many of you had that have gone bust or never paid? We've been very lucky. I like to say the office are very good. Gemma's very good. She's firm but fair, and you've got to try and give and take in all this time of corona. I know one of the guys, a friend of mine. Well, it's an acquaintance. He had to struggle to get some money in, and it's not his fault. So we worked with him. He's cleared it. We cleared it end of last week. He was a little bit overdue. Work with people. Talk to them. You know when someone's giving you the runaround. You know when it's like, oh, you haven't sent us the PODs. I went, yeah, no, don't give me that. You have 30 days to tell me this. No. So you know when someone's giving you a runaround and when they're genuine. So just try and work with people. We know we've been pretty lucky. So I think most people are pretty solid still. So, and RBD, a.k.a. the Droid. It's your new name, mate. We'll take that one. We call you the Droid. Cheers for the video. Question on ADR. And this is where you guys come in, because I don't know. How much more per mile can you charge? Is it worth the course fee? Thanks, Navas, the Droid. You've got to bear in mind, if you're going for the ADR, you are effectively signing up for carrying a bomb. That's what my transport manager said. So why would you choose to carry a bomb? But you've got to have a broom, and you've got to have sand, and you've got to have these plates, and you've got to have these goggles and 2 different forms of fire extinguishers, and all this stuff's got to be on your van all the time. Is it worth it? I don't know. I've never done it. So if anyone out there knows any more about ADR, if they could please let me know, and I will pass it on to the Droid next week. And the final words this time goes to Daddy and Jack, who says Chatteris is a lovely place. I've got a prop here. Yeah, I'm not saying Charis isn't a lovely place. I'm just saying I was expecting better. See, I'm a fan of this band called Half Man, Half Biscuit. I used to listen to them back in me jiggly jangly shoestare days, like, you know. They've done some great songs. They did from the album back in the DHS. You had I'm in Love with Never Shoes, Dickie Davis Eyes. 99% of gargoyles look like Bob Todd. You know, there's some cracking songs out there. Time flies by when the driver train. But there are a couple of favourites that I've got, and they're off a later album, which is Acton Bono, and one of them is what is called What's Charis, and I actually think it's a lovely song. I actually really like the song, and so I was always keen to go to Charis, and then I got to Charis. So it's all about what a lovely place it is, but what's the point of being there if like the girlfriend isn't, like, you know? And I got there and I was kind of expecting a little bit more. But one thing I have got is these 10 points for anyone who knows what these are, and if you get that right, you can also call yourself Dr. Pop for the whole of the month. On that note, I'm done. Thanks very much, guys. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. Thanks for subscribing and all that. And if you haven't subscribed, please do. And if you don't subscribe, don't worry. Just take care and take money.